Yo, yo, yo.
What
Another
is
great
going
night.
on? What is going on, El Herbo?
You always got to start with this. I was worried for a minute while we were playing the intro because we've always had somebody give us a comment right before we get started. So
Yeah,
gotta have somebody. The cat holding it down.
Cat, good evening. Thank you for holding us down. We appreciate you.
Yeah, like we said, we got past 100 subscribers. We are on our way to 200. So please help us out.
Oh, wait, hold on. Wait,
is that 02 or 20?
I don't know. It depends on what perspective
we're from Alabama. Education is not necessarily our strong point.
So. Don't say that. Don't say that.
Oh, sorry. Okay, so anyway, please like and subscribe. Thank you, Kat. We get the hey guys. I don't know if they and Lady Alpha with the hey y'all. Appreciate you.
Hey,
and
Lady Alpha.
Say hello to each other. I appreciate our regulars, man. There are people that you can always count on to be on there, man. So we appreciate.
I'm pretty sure they don't even go to work on Tuesdays and they sit at home all day waiting for this podcast to come on.
So Raj, they told me that, but they said don't say that on air. So way to go.
Oh, my bad. Because their employers might be watching. I don't want them getting in trouble.
Yes, okay, exactly. Gotcha. So thank you. How about you keep that under wraps? There we go.
Gotcha.
What's up, big dog?
Shout out to Randy.
Yeah, waiting for you to sign in there. So let me tell you. So you guys are gonna see some changes like with our YouTube page. Yes. And Randy said he's working right now. With our YouTube page and stuff like that. Randy sat me down last week and kind of gave me a tutorial. I always think of Randy as kind of like my uncle. That's like teaching. And you can tell sometimes he's a little bit like Herb. You haven't done what I asked you yet. So Randy, I'd like to say I apologize, man. It's been a rough week since we talked, but I took the notes. I took everything to heart. And you're definitely going to see some changes on the YouTube page, man. So I appreciate everything you do. So thank you very much, sir. So Mike with a what's up, Roll Tide.
What up, big Mike?
Kat says she's got plenty of time for us, so we're good.
I'm a stay-at-home mom. Hey, nothing wrong with that. Hey, shout out to Kat. Shout out to all the stay-at-home moms.
Yep, definitely. Oh, that's a big. We actually had one over the other night. Our Bo, not football talk with Bo, but Auburn Bo, who stopped by, and his wife is a stay-at-home mom with 3 kids, and she just looked like, I'm just happy to be out the house. So I have a lot of respect.
Obviously, I'm not I could understand what you're saying. Trust me. Sitting, I have those days. We're like, man, hey, thanks for inviting us. We just want to get out the house.
I appreciate it. So mention Randy, Mr. U and Football Talk with Bo going to be on tomorrow morning. Raj and I are contributors to their show, the Wednesday wrap up. And then, of course, that Monday thing that we do every Monday. Both of those 8 p.m. Central Time, 8 a.m. Central Time. Start off your morning. So, Randy, I will be texting you after this broadcast then because I gotta hear what's going on, man.
Gotta hear
football as well. So,
and it's rough when he's
wait. What
happened?
Kat talk about she's an introvert. This is the same person that mentioned that she was watching the game from the tub. So I don't know about all that.
Cat, look at you, Cat.
Yeah. This is the same Cat that started giving out her phone number two digits at a time on the show. So we don't believe that.
Okay, Cat.
Yeah.
Wow.
We don't believe that at all. So.
Cat said you got to crawl before you walk.
Are you just shooting out random lyrics?
I am.
Yeah. My neighbor thinks I'm selling dope.
That song is so old.
It's like yesterday. I mean, I swear it came out a couple weeks ago. So,
Mike. Mike. What's going on, Mike?
Yep. So recently, I'm not going to name names, but recently somebody had to message me and let me know that they had the mics mixed up, and they needed me to sort out which was Air Raid Mike and which one was Big Mike.
Oh yeah.
In their phone. So there you go. What's up? That's it. Oh, she says she's not in person. What? This is a blast for the past. What's up, Mika?
What's going on, Tamika? Appreciate you joining in.
Yeah, that's like back in my college days. So yeah.
Oh, that was back in the early 80s.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Anyway, Tamika, thank you for tuning in tonight. Appreciate you. Yeah. Roll Tide, of course. So
Roll Tide.
Did you hear it through the grapevine? I was wondering how I knew about your plans to. Okay, we'll stop there. So sorry. All right.
Was that the California Raisins?
I cannot tell. Yes, the California Raisins. Somebody else said it before them, right? I can't tell you, Mike, but it was just funny because you know, I do automatically because Mike, Air Raid Mike is in my phone as Mike Air Raid or Air Raid Mike. I'm sorry. So
I
was
have
like,
Mike, Big Mike saved as Big Mike. Yeah.
Yeah. Big Mike and Air Raid Mike. So people watching probably like, do these guys ever get to talking about sports or they just ramble on for a while? We ramble on for a while. And then we talk about sports. So.
Then we get into sports. We have to have some sort of build up, some sort of intro.
Yes. Yeah. And plus we got to pay homage to our regulars and the people we love. So starting with another person talking about JB and JT, who we watched their live stream of the Alabama game. So, and what I mentioned this last week, you know that you are loved when people are watching your live stream and your live stream feels like it's 5 minutes ahead of everyone, but we still tune in for you.
Yes.
So, we watched both of them. We were there this Saturday, and it was just I don't know if it was even heartbreaking because like we didn't really expect to win, but I mean it kind of sucked to get that close, but it's still the best job Alabama's ever done. Proud of the team, and I mean you lose to the eventual champs. Every time we lose to UConn in the tournament, they win the whole thing, right? I mean that's how how that goes. But what your thoughts about Alabama going down to UConn on Saturday night?
I mean, to your earlier point, this whole season definitely exceeded my expectations. I'm not gonna, even as a Bama fan, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I had them going to the Final Four. Once the tournament was announced, I said that UConn game is probably the Sweet 16 game is probably where we make our exit, and that was just based on how we had been playing in the SEC tournament in previous weeks. So defensively, we're not looking as tough as we usually do. So it is what it is. We lose in the Sweet 16. We end up beating North Carolina. Grant Nelson has a monster game, like 24-12. We end up playing Clemson. Played well there. Mark Sears had another great game, hit like 7 threes that game. Then we get the matchup with UConn. I say, okay, this is going to be obviously our toughest matchup. I think we played a great first half. So somewhere midway through that second half, we just got a little sloppy, and they just turned it up a notch, and they didn't take their feet off the pedal. Kudos to UConn. They beat us. They beat us. They earned it. They earned the whole thing. They were the best team in the tournament, hands down, on both sides of the ball.
And Randy.
But yeah, to end to Randy's point, this is the best outcome from an Alabama basketball team in history. As far as best team, that makes a good best team.
Best team versus best performance, I guess, is what you're trying to say.
Yeah, I would say this is the best performance. Team-wise, I still like last year's team with Brandon Miller. And you can go back to some of those early 2000 teams when Kennedy Winston, Ernest Shelton, some of those teams. But the style of ball that we played like in the early 2000s was obviously different. When Nate Oates arrived, it was like, listen, he's a math teacher. We're gonna do the math. We're gonna play the numbers game, and we're gonna jack up some threes. But
yeah. So it's interesting in that, Raj. Brandon Miller would have been the best player on the court easily. To your first point about the best team,
right?
But this team feels like more spread out, deeper, and more contributions from everyone. Like if you had Brandon Miller on this team, obviously you think that we've got an alpha that maybe I still don't know that you beat UConn, but you still you probably have more confidence going into this season.
Yeah,
but it's an interesting comparison between the two. You lose your best player, but everyone else kind of gets better. So I feel like best team wise, maybe we are talking about this year, and maybe most talent was last year. But it's kind of like it's all about phrasing. Right. So, Air Raid, we saw your last comment. That is definitely in the next.
Oh yeah, part of that is definitely.
Don't worry, we'll get there. So, yep. Oh yeah. They don't ask how many. Yep. Yeah. I mean, that's we're out happy with the team. Like I said, it's all we're nitpicking the phrasing. Look, we're excited that they made it there.
Yep.
It was a great run. I don't know what else you can really say about that. We didn't expect much from them. And you kind of put we competed. We were close in that first half, but UConn just is so steady, man. You can't if you have like 2 possessions without a good look or a good bucket, you're in trouble.
They're a very, very disciplined team too, and they know their style of basketball, and they're not going to sit here and cater to anybody else. They're going to play at their speed, and they made Alabama come down to their speed. We tried to do the fast-paced thing and trade buckets, and we were up by think we were up by 5 at one point in the game, and I was ecstatic about that. But then again, come out in the second half, missed a few shots there, had a rough start, and they just kind of got away from us. But again, and to share a sentiment, I mean, this team exceeded our expectations. We made it to our first Final Four in history, and now the question is, where do we go from here? And I saw somebody.
I didn't miss to click that one, but yeah, go ahead, Raj.
Oh yeah, to Big Mike's point. I mean, everybody's eligible to come back next year, with the exception of Aaron Estrada. That was his last year of eligibility. So I think for Mark Sears and Nelson, it's like, do you test the waters? Do you talk to some people, see where you would land at, or do you just come back, or what? I guess that's another question that I was going to ask you. If the draft was tomorrow, what rounds? Where do you think they would get drafted at?
Nelson's second round, if anything.
Yeah.
Nelson is second round, if anything.
Sears, I feel like Sears is like maybe late first round to second round.
Here's what I do if I'm Sears, to be honest.
Yeah.
I declare from the draft.
Yep.
I don't get an agent.
Don't sign an agent, right.
I go to some draft camps. I go to some stuff, and I see where it falls. If he gets a mid-first round grade, I don't think he will, but if he gets that, I think he goes. I think he owes it to himself to test the waters. Yeah. But you got to think some NIL money will beat an early second round for him for sure. But I think he tests the waters. Look, if he has a great camp and somebody falls in love with him and somebody promises him first round, I mean, I say you go, right? Yeah,
the worst case scenario, I mean, well, I'm not going to say worst case scenario, but if anything, you come back to Bama for next year, you're going to be a top 5 team. A good chance to make a deep run in the tournament. And I mean, obviously you're going to have all the accolades and you just build on your resume. And next year you will definitely be a first round pick.
Right. I agree, Mike. That's exactly where I'm at right now with Sears for sure. So I think the way Brunson is playing in New York maybe helps him a little bit because people see somebody his size, but I don't know stylistically. I think Sears is more of an outside threat and Brunson is a little more crafty around the basket. So maybe that comparison helps them, but no, I think Sears has to. Sears, I wouldn't fault him for testing the waters, but like you said, if you come back next year and get in there. So I looked at CBS Sports and they had their 2 early next year, and I think they had it at 11 or 12 for next year, and that's without knowing what Sears and Nelson is doing. So
you mean preseason rankings or
preseason rankings? But
I know like top 5.
That's what I would have thought, but I guess because they're thinking if Sears and Estrada both leave,
yeah, you're right.
I don't know what's going on with Nelson, so that's where they're at right now. So it'll be interesting. I don't mind. I like starting outside of the top 10 because
I'm cool with it.
It's basketball. The season's so long. Our out of conference was not that great this year,
right?
And we still had a great end of the season. So
and we had I think Alabama had the toughest strength of schedule this year too.
Yeah, we played like everybody. 1. So that was great.
We played. If y'all don't remember, we did play Purdue earlier in the season. Yeah. I think we played Purdue, Arizona, and Creighton, if I remember correctly.
The Nelson dunk, which by the way, he also got fouled on. So that would have been that was like, and what I like now is everyone is using that Nelson dunk in different memes now for different stuff.
I used it on Facebook today.
Yeah. So it's funny. So
let me throw this in there right quick regarding the Nelson dunk. I honestly did not see it when it happened. I was in the kitchen. I think I was holding Royal along one of them, and I had my phone in the kitchen, so I heard the reactions from the PSF app from the live stream we were watching, but I didn't see it. So then I have to go back and I see it on the replay, but then I had to watch it a million times on YouTube in live motion. I was like, okay. Yeah. That was pretty nasty. That's what we've been wanting to see from Grant Nelson all year. You're that big, dude. You should be dunking on guys on the regular.
Yeah. I don't understand it. And so his quote came out there was like he talked to his agent and see what's going on. Like, your value is here in this style that we play here. I don't know that he's going anywhere else, but you never know what everybody, what decisions they're gonna make. So Mike made some good points here. Sear size, Brunson's actually an inch or 2 taller. Yeah. And that's why I think, like I said, also Brunson's an inch or 2 taller. I think Brunson is better mid-range. Sears, you're almost getting, outside shots or almost it feels like nothing. So I personally don't think he should go, but, I'm biased. So I can't, like I said, if he goes to a draft camp, I would definitely declare him and just kind of see what's out there. But maybe he's happy here. Who knows? So We'll see. I thought there was another one.
Me being biased too, I would love for Mark Sears to come back. I would love for Mark Sears to come back, and then we have the 2 McDonald's All-Americans, and you can only hope, not hope, but you can only think that Nate Oates is going to get some big men out of the portal. That's one of the holes that I think we really need to fill. I wouldn't mind getting another 6'10", 6'11", or 7-footer out of the portal. I heard the guy from Arizona. I don't recall his name. I can't pronounce it correctly. He's in the transfer portal.
Right. So let me tell y'all real quick. Every time somebody enters the transfer portal that Raj wants, I get a text.
Yes. Dude, because I'm looking at the size, and I'm thinking we just need a big man to stay down there and post up. We don't need him to get 15 points a game, but if you can get us 10 and 10, 12 and 10, hey, I'm fine with that. We just need some size down there and somebody who's not going to foul out all the time.
So let me ask this though: if you were a big man and you saw the style that Alabama plays, would you want to come here?
I know it.
It's tough.
That's a very, very good question because you're thinking Nate Oates is going to want a big man that's going to shoot threes to kind of to fit our style of play. But I'd come here. I mean, as far as strength of schedule, things like that, having your games nationally televised, being able to make a deep run in the tournament, you're gonna be seen. And if you're that big man, that starting center on that team, you're gonna be seen, you're gonna get known, and then draft scouts will start to pay attention to you as long as you're putting up good numbers. I mean, just like I said, you're not gonna be able to. You don't have to shoot the threes, but if you're that big, dude, get some rebounds. You can be averaging 10 and 12 and 10 a game, and you'll still be a viable player on the team.
Agreed. Did Kareem Abdul-Jabbar enter the portal today? Just that. Talking about the
guy from Indiana State in the goggles.
Yeah. So those goggles, I make fun of them because that was my best advantage when I played basketball. Was those goggles? I used to wear those goggles, and everyone thought you were trash when you wore the goggles, and then all of a sudden you get by them and get a rebound and put it back up, and people are like, "What the heck happened?" So, I see
Herb looked just like James. Herb looked just like a real cool James Worthy with a flat top. That's what he looked like.
Yeah, baby. So, and Mike, I did see your post earlier. I will put it out there along with Ease about the NBA stuff. So I did see that. Air Raid Mike, we did see that. So, he said is half their team is in the transfer portal. We are going to talk a little transfer portal later on, so we will get that. And I was looking at that as far as basketball and needs, but I didn't go too deep in it because they were like the first thing that Alabama needs out of the transfer portal, lead guard. And I'm like, it depends on what happens with Sears. So, all right, moving on from there. Did you watch both Sunday and Monday's national championship games?
I watched both games.
Okay.
Yes, I did.
So, are you surprised that the women had the better rankings than the men?
No. Honestly, I'm not.
18.9 to 14.8.
I'm not, because Caitlin Clark, this was supposed to be her shining moment as far as capping off of one of the best careers in women's college basketball history. So we wanted to see that. And then plus people on the other side, I think a lot of people wanted to see if South Carolina could go ahead and complete a perfect season. So there was 2 different scenarios coming into that game. On the men's side, I mean, you look at it's UConn and Purdue. Maybe if it had been 2 other teams, maybe in Kentucky, exactly, Kentucky and Bama or something like that. Maybe it would have got a little more attention. But it's UConn, Purdue, and honestly, a lot of people picked those 2 in the championship game, so it wasn't too much of a surprise.
So let's take the first one first. The women's.
Okay. Yeah.
Caitlin Clark versus the undefeated team.
Correct.
Like, they could not have scripted it better. I know there were some people we talked about it Monday morning too, the foul against UConn at the end of the UConn Iowa game. I said, look, man, if you're gonna rig a game, you do not wait till the last 9 seconds to do it. If I rig a game and I'm the official, your team is fouling out in the third quarter. So that's not it. So go ahead.
Just let me add in right quick. I watched that play several times. And was it a moving screen? Yes, it was a moving screen. She did move a little bit. Her leg, and I think your legs can only be shoulder width apart. Her legs were kind of spread out. It was a moving screen, but
she looked like this.
I know.
She had like 1 foot in the lane and 1 foot at half court. So I get it.
Yeah. It was just, I think people, including myself, were upset with the timing of the call.
Agreed.
I would rather see a last second shot by Paige Beckers. If it goes in, cool, UConn wins. If she misses, they miss. They lose, and obviously Iowa won. But it was just the timing of that call. If they had called in the first quarter, whatever, I'm like, cool, whatever. But you hate to see a game end in that fashion.
Right. But having said that, they got what they wanted, I think. So, and I feel, like I said, you don't know if UConn makes or misses that. So I didn't feel like it was rigged. I feel like we deserve to have Caitlin Clark in the final versus South Carolina.
Right.
And so, I was happy for that outcome, and it was funny watching that game, the way it started and Iowa on fire and everyone already talking about rig. And I was like, let the game play out.
Let them play.
Let's just see what happens. And South Carolina came back and won. Going undefeated for a whole season is tough.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Roger. What are you saying?
No, I just think South Carolina's size posed too much of a threat to Iowa. Iowa had the game on the perimeter with Caitlin Clark, but if she wasn't hitting shots,
and I hear you, Randy.
They weren't able to out-rebound South Carolina. South Carolina has some, Cardoso and the other young lady.
She's freaking 6'7", Rod. She's almost as tall as you.
Yes, she's extremely tall.
Yeah.
Yeah. But she's got some nice hair too.
And anyway, Mike, this is something we talked about last week. The women for the tournament marketed their stars. Like in the Final Four, you did have Cardoso in South Carolina, but you had Buchers in there. You had Juju. You had Caitlin Clark. You had the stars being marketed. For the men's tournament, we're just like, it's UConn and let's. I feel bad for this because I don't really know his character, but people don't really flock to Edey, and people don't really seem to like Edey. You're just going to see more posts against them than for him. Yeah. So it's just like, to go on with Mike's point, we did kind of think UConn was going to win all these games, and there was just more intrigue and more to watch. And Caitlin Clark really did help carry the tournament. I give that to her. But the other secondary stars did their part as well, and you just tuned in way more for that. I think I watched way more of the women's tournament than I ever have this year. Yeah.
I agree. I started watching it heavily the past 2 years, but this year I've tried to watch as many games as I could. And to go for the women's tournament, I mean, let's be honest, we're so used to going back in the days and watching UConn win every single year. And after a while, you're just like, okay, I don't know who the next big team is going to come up, but it looks like South Carolina is that team. Dawn Staley, what was that, her third championship, I believe?
Yes. I think it was 17 2 years ago. Last year they got put out by Caitlin Clark.
Yep. And then they 17, 22, and now. So good shout out to Dawn Staley. Was a really, really extremely dominant player. Excellent, awesome coach. Shout out to South Carolina and the women's team. So let me ask you a question before we move on.
I think this is about the UConn men. Yeah.
Do you think that the WNBA ratings will now increase since Caitlin Clark and some of these girls are now going to the WNBA?
Were you the one that asked that, or was that on another? No, I think that was on our Monday show. So I said, "Oh, I'm sorry. What did I miss this one right here?"
What?
Because this is a good. Ray talked about it. Clark is a baller. South Carolina's new UConn. Yeah. To go along with that, and she's saying website. I said no, and here's why. When does the WNBA season start?
You know what? I know what you're getting at, and honestly, I could not tell you.
And most people can't. You know what I mean? And I think that's the problem. You don't know when the season, because I think the draft is like next week, which is why you see so many people already declaring. You don't know when it starts. During Olympic years, it's like cut in half. Like halfway through, then they stop and they play. You don't know when it starts. You don't know when it ends. You have no idea what the women have been up to the whole year. The NBA has been playing since October, and the WNBA is going to start here in April, May. They'll be done by June, July. You know what I mean? So you're shaking your head at all this stuff, and that's kind of the point, right? You got no clue what's going on with the WNBA. Are they still? They had to make a rule that if you play overseas, you got to be back before the season starts. And some people are actually considering, am I going to play overseas more? I'm going to play here.
Right.
They don't market their stars in the off season. You have no idea what's going on. They're just the fundamental plan of the WNBA fails its players. Is how I feel. So it's not.
I'd have to agree with you because when you were talking about all those things, I couldn't tell you any dates. I have no idea when any of that is, and I haven't researched it. So maybe that's my fault. But I couldn't tell you.
But you shouldn't have to research it.
This is why
you already. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. No, because I'm getting overexcited about this thing, and that's my fault. I apologize. But to the last 2 points and what we're talking about here, you don't research when Alabama's playing. You already know. right?
I know that. Yeah.
And in general, when college football is being played, as the last week of August, first week of September, right? When the NBA season's right about. You probably know just about when baseball starts, even if you never watch a game, and NHL starts, right?
Yeah.
You have no idea. You're just thinking, I know it's in the summer sometime.
Right.
The WNBA. They just do a terrible job. And then all of a sudden they cram this game in and they're like, oh, all right, here, we're trying to be on all the commercials and everything. I'm sorry. You just gave us like 10 months with none of you. So,
and if you think about it, Caitlin Clark, you see Caitlin Clark in more commercials than any WNBA player. She was in the State Farm commercials and doing all those type of things. And you hear about them, Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark, all those girls, more than you do any WNBA players.
Yeah. So, Mike, I wonder, can she overcome the lack of support from the league? So this has nothing to do on my end of it. It's not an argument against Caitlin Clark. It's an argument against the WNBA. She has star power, and I think people will flock to her. Right. But the WNBA needs to capitalize on a star of this magnitude. Especially, she also fit right into the perfect era with NIL, where they could actually get her on TV and you could see her more. Right. And I think that kind of fit this whole thing perfectly. So it's up to the WNBA to carry that. So Angel Reese coming out and possibly being like the foil to Caitlin Clark and that whole friends, enemies kind of thing. That's a great storyline to post as well. But that's up to somebody else. So throwing shade. Yeah. So I wonder if you're talking about the Diana Taurasi and them throwing shade, because there was some hateful comments coming from them. Not exactly ushering in the next era of women's basketball. So.
I think what happens is sometimes since she had such a remarkable college career, people want to start giving her that one term that we heard so often, and it's the whole GOAT debate, and is she the GOAT, blah blah blah. And I hate it when people do that to her, because it's like, listen, she's a great shooter. Okay, she's not coming out here being cocky about it, doing anything crazy. She's the best. She's probably the best women's shooter I've ever seen. There might be some in the past, whatever the case may be, but when it comes to player, there have been a lot of great women's basketball players. I mean, we know that even if you look at the history of just UConn women's players, even Cheryl Miller, things, etc. So like so people kind of tarnish this whole discussion when they start saying the GOAT. Is she the GOAT? Like, don't do that. Let's not do that right now.
Just let her be her.
Let her be. Enjoy the moment. Enjoy and appreciate what she's done for women's college basketball, and then go from there. And let's just see what happens.
Yeah. I told you I hated that whole debate, because anytime I was like, I don't think Caitlin Clark is, it's like I'm insulting her. No, she was great for college basketball this year. She was great for women's basketball. Seems to have good character and a heck of a player. Her passing was amazing along with her shooting. So, like, I have nothing bad to say about it. Just because I say I don't think she's a GOAT doesn't mean just don't take it.
Right.
So that's all I felt like. So, so going back to the men's side of thing, and like I said, the women totally deserve to have the. I watched the women's game throughout. I turned the men's game off with about 6 or 7 minutes left. And I think I even posted if UConn does not score anymore for the rest of the game, I don't think Purdue wins, and I think Purdue beat it by 1. So I didn't realize that was tonight. I thought that happened a couple of nights ago. So
I just got the notification about 5 minutes ago or 10 minutes ago from Bleacher Report. So that's pretty cool.
Thank you, Mike, for the update. Yes. Appreciate it. So the men's, they had their coronation. So if you're the men's and UConn, are you upset that Calipari went to Arkansas like the same day you win the championship? Are you like, bro, you could even give us our spotlight?
No, I mean, it's kind of like, and you know what reference I'm going to use? It's kind of like Michigan winning the national title. And then
oh my gosh! If Mr. U is watching, he's going to be.
I know.
Let me get my phone. Is he going to be texting?
That might be one reason why I'm bringing it up. And then 2 days later, Nick Saban retires. So yeah, people in Michigan are like ecstatic, but everybody else is like, oh wow, the college football landscape is changing. No, you're not excited. UConn's they're cool. It is what it is. I think the only question that was arising there was, since there is a vacancy in Lexington, are they going to go after Dan Hurley? And I mean, based on what I've seen on social media, they were throwing numbers at him. I don't know if any of these are accurate. I don't know anybody within either program. I don't know if any of this is actually going to come to fruition. So I don't know.
Can I say this? It's shameful that this man is sitting up here talking about his national championship and somebody's already asking about Kentucky. Can he not enjoy his national championship for like 2? So here's the deal, right? Let's say he does decide to go to Kentucky, right? Whatever he says right now after winning national championship shouldn't count. If he says, I'm definitely not going, and then Kentucky's like, we'll give you $30 million a year, and he goes, that's fine. So let him enjoy his national championship for
Right.
a minute. Don't ask him to lie to you or give you. So me personally, if I've won 2 in a row at UConn, I want to show people I can win 3 in a row. So I would stay. But Kentucky is still Kentucky in basketball.
Right.
So
Right.
Mike says the last name he saw was Scott Drew. So
yeah.
Randy, we're gonna get to your comment in a minute when we cover our poll.
Randy, thank you. Randy shares our sentiment. It's not just us, and it's not just Randy, but a lot of people think that way, whether people want to hear that or not. Whether you're a Michigan fan, you want to hear it. That's just how a lot of us feel. It is what it is.
It is what it is. Yeah. So, and then he said with Scott Drew. So for Alabama, the reason why we mentioned this is Nate Oates actually came out and posted like, I'm not going to Kentucky.
Right.
Did you ever see the day? Did you ever think you would see the day when an Alabama coach turned down the Kentucky job in basketball?
No. And it's funny you asked that because I was thinking like,
it's always funny when I ask questions.
How would I feel? Very funny. How would you and I feel if he actually did leave? Like when Saban retired, I was like devastated. Like it would be weird to have those same emotions when your basketball coach leaves.
I know. And it's different. Like if Nate Oates retired tomorrow, I'd be like, oh man, that sucks. But if he left for another school, like if Saban had left to go to LSU, you'd have been like, I just would have felt. I'd have said, like I said, I quit football.
What if Saban left to go to Auburn?
I mean, I couldn't even be mad because I'd be like, he's clearly either drunk, high, or being blackmailed. So
like
I'd be like, blink twice if you're okay. You're just not going that way. So Randy, this one is funny because I listened to a Kentucky broadcast before the Alabama game. And this is when the basketball coach and the football coach were kind of feud. Was it Stoops and Calipari were feuding a little bit, and they talked about it. And they said this: look, you are what you spend your money on. So, Kentucky is a basketball school forever and ever. And before the Alabama game, they were talking basketball. They didn't even talk about the Alabama game, but just halfway through. So and I didn't even know she's going to be the first one because the Harding is getting interviewed for the Hornets job. So I think she also has a chance to be. So Becky Hammond is universally respected, and she was under Popovich. So I probably should have put this in the NBA section, but it was such a good question. Sorry, I had to jump into it real quick. What I want for her or for Harding is to get into a good situation because you know how that is when you're the first woman. Right. I feel like both are capable, especially Hammond. Hammond came up under Pop, and she's won titles for them for their G League team or whatever. Hammond is very, very well respected, and she came up under one of the best in the game. I want her to get into the situation where she can actually succeed. It's like when they said Harding was interviewing at the Hornets, I was like, she's going to get fired in 3 years, but it's not going to be her fault because the Hornets have just been perpetually awful forever. So, my thoughts on Hammond just being a coach, period, awesome. Because, and I think Randy just put it awesome. She's a great coach and a great mind, and she came up in a great organization. Yeah. I just want it to be the right situation for her. I hope she doesn't take the first job, which I know in that situation, beggars can't be choosers. And I say that meaning like anybody who's looking for a head coaching job, the head coaching jobs that come across, unless it's the Bucks, is usually a losing situation. I would tell her there's certain losing situations she can clean up, and there's certain losing situations she can't. Sorry.
Yeah, I agree. I agree because if she gets in the wrong situation, first of all, she's already going to be coming in with a lot of criticism, and there's going to be a lot of people that are attacking her on social media, and they're not going to say, and they're going to say what they feel, but because they can't come out and say, oh, it's just she's a woman, blah, 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 and she's going to have to deal with all that stuff. So if she goes somewhere and loses a few games, people are going to just jump on her, and I'd hate to see that. See that happen. And as you mentioned, for her coming under Greg Popovich, meaning she knows what she's doing. Oh yeah, she'll be a good coach. Just give her the right tools, and she'll succeed.
Yep, and I think she already has the guys' respect from what she did on like the G League teams and stuff like that. So I want to see her succeed because I think she is a great mind and a great coach. So I hope she gets a good opportunity. So I agree. That. All right, Raj, we wanted to transition a little bit into our poll. Mr. U on his show on Monday, he has several polls. So he this past week he had the polarizing polls. Most polarizing person in sports, or it was basketball. LeBron James was on there and he won that one. I think the Cowboys were on for team. So we posted who was the most hated team in college football.
Yes.
We put Alabama, Notre Dame, Ohio State, and Michigan.
Yeah.
Michigan was an homage to that was for Mr. U.
Yeah.
After one day, right now, we have 181 votes on this poll. 49.2% is Alabama.
Yeah.
Does that surprise you at all?
No, it doesn't surprise me. This is something that you and I have discussed over the past few years, and it all comes down to winning. All right. And you know me being a Dolphins fan,
so you know nothing about winning. Got it.
I completely disliked the Patriots for like 20 years when Tom Brady had his 6th Super Bowl. I hated them. And it wasn't because I had never been to Boston, never been to the New England area. I just hated them because they were winning.
Right.
Since Alabama established his dynasty under Nick Saban, we had got to a point to where people just said, okay, we want anybody to win but Bama. That was it. And I heard people say that. So I'm not surprised that Bama's number one.
I disagree with that, though, just because of because Georgia won back-to-back and almost 3 in a row. People don't hate Georgia like they hate Alabama.
Yeah, but they did win 3 in a row. But if Georgia wins this upcoming season or the season afterwards, then maybe we'll get to that point. And I personally haven't heard a lot of people say I can't stand Georgia.
Right.
I think so many people just want anybody to win other than Bama. So again, in order for that to be proven true, and this is my opinion. If you're a Georgia fan, you may think differently.
Right.
In order for that to happen, I think that Georgia would have to win a few more titles. And again, we can revisit this in a couple of years from now.
Okay.
And again, also this is subjective. I mean, if you go to someone in Washington, they might say, "Oh, the Huskies are the most hated team in college football."
Nobody hates Washington.
Nobody hates them, right?
So that brings up a good point, though. And the question I posed to you:
yes,
who was your number 2 team? Who was after Alabama?
Oh. That was strange. Like Michigan was up there simply, but the thing about Michigan, it was just because of.
Give me a team. Okay. Give me a team. Who's your team?
I think it was Did I say Notre Dame? Because I gave you the 4.
Is Notre Dame your number 2?
Golly, it's either them or Ohio State.
So you want Ohio State?
I'm gonna go with Notre Dame.
You're gonna go with Notre Dame. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll go with Ohio State then.
That's fine. Oh gosh. I can't believe I fell right into this. Here we go.
So for those who Raj and I had a debate.
Why don't we just get to the point? We don't have to do this.
Raj and I have a debate series that we've been running since the football season ended. We'll talk about the scores later. So Raj is taking the number 2 hated team in America is Notre Dame, and I'm taking Ohio State. So Raj, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. I always go first. You go ahead.
Oh,
you do your.
So unlike my rival Notre Dame in this one, Ohio State is actually relevant. They call themselves the Ohio State, which already irks certain people. They're in the Big Ten, which everyone in the South seems to hate for some reason. They're actually a talented team that has a chance of winning. So that's why they're way more hated than your little Notre Dame team.
But doesn't relevancy, and this is gonna be for both of us, doesn't relevancy mean winning a national title? Because the last time they won was about 10 years. Notre Dame has won in obviously a while. But I'm just asking you a question though, right? Doesn't relevancy mean winning a national title?
At least, so relevancy can mean in this case also not just winning a national title, but how about like being to the playoffs multiple years, winning your division, something good. So
Notre Dame's been
the team that you're backing.
Yeah, Notre Dame's been to what national championship game in 2012, and I think they've been to 2 or 3 playoff games. Obviously, they played us in some of those, and that didn't go their way. I think a lot of Notre Dame's hate. And you can correct me if I'm wrong or jump in. Or
you're usually wrong, but like that
Notre Dame thing goes back more. It's like decades old, though. Like people have been hating on Notre Dame for such a long time historically, and now it's like whenever we talk about the whole playoff race, it's always like, well, we hope Notre Dame doesn't get in because they don't have a conference. And I think that's another reason why they receive a lot of hate from college football too, because they don't have a conference and they're independent. They somewhat play a tough schedule every now and then. But overall, people just aren't Notre Dame fans, and I don't know if it's what the school stands for. It's just kind of like the school that's out there in Indiana or whatever the case may be.
Right.
But there's just not a lot of people. That
you know why we don't hate. We don't hate Notre Dame. You know why we don't hate Notre Dame? Because you guys will be terrible if you make the playoffs anyway. If Ohio State makes the playoff, you know they have a chance of winning something. If Notre Dame makes the playoff,
4 years ago we played Ohio State in the championship game and we beat them, but 52-24.
Okay, but we at least knew that would be more competitive. If Notre Dame had made that championship game, they would have beat them by 100.
52-24 is not.
They'd have beat them by 1,000. Notre Dame plays just to try and keep it close. What's the most notable thing about Notre Dame in the past decade or the past?
Their helmets.
Century?
Their helmets are gold.
No, Manti Te'o's fake girlfriend. That's all you hang your head on right now.
I was not going to bring that up.
Yeah, well, I'm going to bring it up because the team is terrible. They suck. You can't hate them anymore because they're irrelevant. Okay, Ohio State has a chance of winning next year.
That's next year. You're talking about things next year.
And I'm saying because that's why you will continue to hate them. You'll hate, to your earlier point, you'll hate the teams that have a chance of winning. Notre Dame, no chance of winning. I can't bother to hate.
Honestly, right now they have just as good as a chance as Ohio State.
We don't know what's going to happen. You don't even believe that. You don't even believe that.
We don't know what's going to happen. Just listen. Come on. Let's do it.
You want to go to our independent judge?
Do I have a choice?
I mean, you gave a decent debate this time. We'll see who won.
I give a decent debate all the time, but I'm always going to lose because it's bias.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's your boy LeBret here on the Herb and Raj podcast, brought in to be the guest judge. Man, I appreciate you guys having me on. Another great debate. Raj, you always start off so strong, but just like LeBron James going to the hole, you just don't finish very well anymore, man. I'm sorry, man. I got it Herb. Like MJ in his prime, baby. You finished that one strong, baby. You dunked on Raj. Gotta give my vote to Herb, man. I appreciate you guys having me on here. Thanks for listening to the Herb and Raj podcast. Please like and subscribe. LeBret, out. You all right over there, Raj? We can check the scores real quick. Well, looks like I just kicked the extra point.
I have so many questions right now. Where did you get those red underwear from? Where did you get that extremely small, medium, black camouflage NBA and those John Stockton shorts? Were you at the house doing that, just bouncing the ball? Did you buy a basketball just for this skit? I am going to call Mom after this podcast. I am going to make sure she watches this. And I need to know what hospital you were born at, because we cannot be brothers. My brother was born in North Carolina. I don't know where you were born at. I don't know why I do this every week. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Coming from another Alabama fan. Oh man. That was the most ridiculous thing. Where did you get those John Stockton shorts from?
First off, that wasn't me. That was clearly somebody named LeBret. So I don't even understand the questions that you're asking me right now.
And then I saw your little subtle jab at LeBron.
Oh, somebody else's subtle jab at LeBron. So it wasn't really subtle either.
Are we finished? Oh my gosh.
Oh, my side hurts. I think I pulled a muscle.
Now it's from wearing that tight jersey.
Let's catch up.
Did Brittany film that?
Oh, by the way, she has something for you in there.
I think she said hi somewhere up there.
Yep.
Shout out to Britt. Love you, sis.
Oh, they don't say.
She was throwing the little early note in there. Okay,
gotcha. Yep. Thank you, Britt.
Oh my god,
where we go? I think that was at the beginning. Yep, Mike liked it. For the most hated due to his debate dominance. I mean, Probably Mike, because I'm killing this debate series. So Cat agreed with it. So back to the original question. So Texas was going to probably be like 6th or 7th on this list. What do you say?
Yeah. I didn't put Texas in the top 4. I mean, again, I think that's more of like especially it's something here in Texas OU type thing. I don't know if they're the most hated, and this might go back to both of our points. They haven't won a national championship since, was it 05? Vince Young, right?
Yeah, Vince Young.
05, so it's been a minute. So
yeah. And there was another Ohio State reference, and I feel attacked. Don't feel attacked. If you're hated, it's because you're relevant.
Yeah,
hate is a good thing. Wear it as a badge of honor. Somebody actually posted that on our poll. Wear it as a badge of honor. So he said, I wouldn't have said Ohio State if I knew it would be Herb's side. Yeah, you want to be careful with Herb's side. So Mike had a good points about Notre Dame and them not having a conference affiliation, so they can kind of like make everyone mad. So that's one of his comments that he had made today. So I would say this to help me as a Saints fan. Yep. So Ryan Day won't win. If he doesn't win it this next year, like I don't know that he gets a better shot with all the transfers and everything they have, and maybe Michigan the year after, kind of maybe on the slide down. So that'd be interesting. So, and I mean Notre Dame will always have their following, so you got to like them for that and the ability to stay independent, but it's not going to help them overall. So, probably in fact we hate Notre Dame because they snapped our 47-game winning streak in 1950. Jeez.
Okay.
Bringing back Rocket Ishmael, yeah. And I assume this is when that great independent judge came. LeBron, LeBron, he need to buy some real shorts, but
that looked extremely uncomfortable.
Oh, definitely a new fave. So Bulk is still my favorite, but this is definitely second. Yeah. These guys that we get as independent judges, I don't know where they come from, but man, I appreciate them.
So, I don't know where they come from.
It
looks like a lot of people have been working at Party City, though, apparently.
Thank you, Randy. So,
Randy, that was not
yes, you just missed the debate, Bo.
Shout out to Bo.
Good to see you. Yeah. Bo has a good taste for so he came over and with the family the other night, so appreciate it. Bo, I'll send you the link so you can kind of see what you missed, though. So.
Again, and I've said this about Bo. If you want a good old-fashioned let Bo make it, just make sure you don't have to go anywhere within the next 2 hours.
Because he's going to make it really strong, or it's going to take him a while to make it?
It's going to take him a while to make it. Bo is very, very precise about his drinks, so shout out to Bo. Hope they made Bo laugh.
Yeah, so Mirage Podcast. I mean, if they want to sponsor us, so
I'll take it. That's some pretty cool stuff at Party City.
Well, Roger, there's 2 things I wanted to go ahead and get in here, and we're kind of like 12 minutes from the end.
It's hard to like focus back on this podcast after watching that. But go ahead.
I just wish you would stop saying it's rigged and give up on it so much.
Okay.
So, wanted to give you. So your Lakers have a big game tonight coming up. So, wanted to give E his due. And I missed Air Raid's progress. He said his Thunder are limping. I know SGA was been injured for a while. He came back tonight, but they didn't look good against the Kings. Celtics, who've like best record in the whole NBA, they'll have home court as long as they're in there. The Bucks are blowing out the Celtics tonight, but it means way more to the Bucks than it does the Celtics. Although,
but is everybody playing for Boston?
I think Porzingis isn't. Like I said, the game doesn't matter to Boston, but Giannis got hurt tonight, so Bucks might be through. Yeah, non-contact injury, so you know how those go.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So Orlando and the Pacers. Thunder, he's got him ranked number 1, but I do believe Minnesota currently is the number 1 seed. Denver. So the top of the West and Dallas sneaking in there. The Western Conference playoffs, I think, will be way more entertaining than the East. So
And for the Lakers, I mean, the Lakers host Golden State tonight, but Anthony Davis is out. He suffered an eye injury Sunday, I believe, and
they said he was looking at some girl in the first row and busted her ear.
I don't know. He just has like the weirdest stuff happen to him. It's so frustrating because this was a big win we needed. I think had we won this game, we probably and Sacramento lost, we could have moved into that 8th spot. But I don't get it. Anyway, whatever.
So curated old fashions with love. Yeah,
That is true. I was just joking, Bo. But yeah, he does make some really, really good old fashions.
And Britt took offense to that.
Brittany makes some good old fashions too. She gave me the recipe for my 40th birthday. She had the recipe laid out, and I have followed that same recipe since then. So shout out to sis. Appreciate you. Love you.
Yep. Does Ray 5 said Perkins? We'll take either one of them if they did. So I'm down
Brent,
with that.
how do you feel about your husband wearing those 2-inch inseam shorts, red shorts? Let me know how you feel about that in the comments, Brent. That was disgusting.
Yeah, and Mike, so we talked about this on other shows and maybe on here briefly. The biggest mistake that the Stallions made, or the organization, having their home opener the same day as the A-Day game.
Yes.
Mike and I are slated to go to a game or two. This would be the game we'd be going to, except we're going to A-Day.
Yeah, so, A-Day. What? And the Birmingham plays at what, 6,
Britt says she
7?
has no clue what you're talking about.
Yeah, and why she typed that, she was laughing.
Randy, when we get together, whenever we get together, hopefully this summer, but if it's in the next football season, I'm buying you an old fashioned or making an old fashioned. That's yes. What we're doing. Okay.
That is my favorite.
So however we get together, we're having an old fashioned. All right.
Yeah.
Period. Yeah. See, even Britt says she doesn't know who that person is.
Okay.
We kind of ended with go longer, so our 8-day game preview is probably not going to. But I think it's hot. Yes.
I think it's not.
So, Mike, do you want me to buy you an old fashioned this weekend? And my boy Ricky Roll Tide.
Shout out to Ricky.
Probably just put his boy to bed. So everyone should feel bad for Ricky because Ricky has to work with me all day. So if you ever want to say the definition of a saint, Brittany has to live with me, and Ricky has to work with me. So you should feel sorry for those two above anything.
What about me? I have to talk to you almost every day too.
You don't have to though. Like you're like 9 hours away from me. So
yeah, but if I don't answer the phone, you're always gonna be like, Raj, why aren't you answering the phone? You're hurting my feelings.
Is that what I sound like?
Yeah.
Wow. So Randy did mention this. So Mike and I will be at 8-day game this week, and we'll be in Tuscaloosa for all of the festivities. We'll probably do some either like live streams this weekend or some reports right afterwards or something like that. So I don't know, Mike, I'm springing this on you last minute, but maybe it's Saturday night. The three of us get together, maybe talk about 8-day game live or Sunday, something like that. So there's some ideas out there for it. So Bo left the job because he had to work with me. So he's all right. I can't do this anymore. I can't blame you though. I can be kind of a goofball times. Then the transfer portal window opens next Tuesday. So we're not sure if we're gonna have a guest or not on that show, but we'll definitely be interested in see what happens on that day. So I'm not posting that comment, Mike, because you are in demand. So you're gonna have to change that comment. You're in demand.
You're not going to post a comment, but you basically said what he just said.
Basically, I'm not that smart. Okay. So I'm looking forward to 8-day game. I know there are a couple of injuries. I was looking on 24/7 today, and they were even talking about like we're thin at the O-line, we're thin at the cornerback spot. So those are spots you can see us attack when it comes up to the transfer portal window. So. And Brittany's making Ricky feel bad. Ricky and Bo both. I'll send y'all the link, or I'll tell you what timing to go to, just so you all can at least see the debate. So, yeah, Kat, that's what. And Josh Pate has teased that already that it's going to be crazy next week. So, I am going to be bracing on the 16th next Tuesday to see kind of what happens. So that'll be crazy. Yeah. So, and we'll see if we get you a guest or not. So, all right, Raj, you ready for a couple questions?
Let's do it.
Okay. This one's kind of like a take us through the mind of Raj question, the first one, okay?
All right.
If you were a basketball, good night to Lady Alpha. Appreciate
good night, Lady Alpha.
Appreciate you tuning in. Whoa. I just made my TikTok post tonight. I'll have to check that after this. So, and Randy, like I said, you said something went crazy today, so I'm going to have to text you after this is over to see what's going on. All right, Raj, take us through what would be your possible basketball career, okay? What position would you play? What's your dream college to go to? How many years would you play at that college? Are you a big dreamer? Hey, I went 3 years. We win 3 national championships. Or I'm a one and done, straight to NBA. Then who is your NBA team you end up with?
Okay.
Do you stay with them your whole career? and how do you go out?
Now, when I make these decisions, am I making them based off my current height, which is 5'10"?
No, your dream height.
Dreams. Okay, I'm gonna base small forward because I want to be able to handle the ball, score, play, be a good two-way player. I go to college for 2 years. I don't know if I don't know if I'd want to be a one and done, because if I don't win the national championship that first year, I'm going to want to come back and redeem myself. Go to Bama for 2 years, win a national championship my second year, get drafted by, I want to go to a team with a big market, nice nightlife. Of course, I got Sydney with me, so I got my wife. I'm good there, but want to be able to take her shopping and do things like that.
Wait. So what's the team? Are we talking Miami,
Lakers,
LA?
Lakers.
Okay.
Lakers. Go to Lakers. Beautiful city.
When you say Lakers, do you mean Clippers?
Lakers, the LA Lakers.
Oh, okay.
What was it? Is that it, or what else do you need to know?
And what is your career? Are you a Hall of Famer? Or are you
I end up a Hall of Famer. I play about 13, 14 seasons, not with the same team. I get drafted by the Lakers, but I feel like somewhere through there, I'm going to get angry. Something's going to happen. The team's not going to be built right. And then I'm going to end up leaving, going somewhere else. Maybe to like New York. So establish myself in New York as well. Maybe I end up there and finally bring the Knicks a championship. So 12, 13 years. That's a good career. After that, I retire. By then our podcasts have been way off the ground. We're both media figures, huge, big balling, almost billionaires, doing all kinds of things. We both have our own private jets. And from there, me and Herb just go traveling, taking our family traveling, sipping on old fashions on the beach.
Sipping on old fashions on the beach. I like it.
Yep.
I like it. All right. Work, play, live. 2 rounds.
Okay.
You ready?
Yep.
Nate Oates.
Okay.
Eric Musselman. John Calipari.
Oh, that's a good one. All right.
And I forgot that you did Ditch, so I'm going to include Ditch next week.
Okay. I'll probably... Oh, this is a good one. I'm going to live next to Eric Musselman. I just don't know him too well, so I mean, I wouldn't mind him being my neighbor. He doesn't seem like a bad guy. I'll hang out with Nate Oates. I think he's pretty cool. He's the type of guy. He's a mathematical type of guy. He's like, all right, so if you go out, you buy 2 or 3 drinks, it's going to cost you this much. Then we won't have enough money to go elsewhere. He'll keep me in check. And then I guess I'll have to work with John Calipari. He's good with young minds. He can help me out with my job, and he'll guide me in the right direction. So
he's good with young minds. What's he going to do with yours?
I don't have to be on here.
You actually do. It's the Herb and Raj podcast. Without you, it's just the Herb podcast. It would be weird. All right, the second round of it. You ready? Pringle, Sears, Nelson.
You know what? I'm going to change this one up. I'm going to hang out with Grant Nelson. I just want to know
because of the stash.
Yes, the stash, and I just want to know what it's like to hang out with someone that tall, 6'10", 6'11". That'll be pretty cool. I'm going to hang out with Grant Nelson, get to know him a little bit. Hey, Grant, what do you want to have a drink? What do you want to do? Do you want to play? You want to play chess? I don't know what you like to do. I want to get to know you, man.
Grant Nelson does not look like a chess player.
Nick Pringle will be my neighbor. I feel like I could sit there, have a few beers with Nick Pringle. Hey, man, you say, yeah, you crazy, man. Nick Pringle, you are crazy. Hey, don't forget to mow your lawn tomorrow. HOA gonna get you. All right, and then
I know why you're not going out with Pringle, because you look like you'd get arrested every night you went out with Pringle.
That's another reason. I don't want to get in trouble. And then I'll work with Mark Sears. He seems like cool, down-to-earth guy, cool work buddy. We can go hang out at lunch, maybe go to happy hour together, chill out, whatever. Cool. It is what it is.
Like it. Okay. And Cass says Pringle would be there for the. I gotta post this one. I'm using all 6 years of eligibility, make the league.
Bo's never leaving school.
Yeah, Bo's like, I'm not living big. I'm only in the game if we're up down 20 with 2 minutes left. Jeez. So.
But you know what? I can't knock
and
that.
This would be intimidating. Yeah. See, we be bailing Ricky and Pringle every week.
Exactly.
I can tell you that right now.
You get that call at 2 a.m, man. I don't know where we are, how we got here, but we're locked up. I need some bail money. No, Ricky.
Yeah, Mike. We've already seen what I look like in tight shirts, so me shirtless is I can't match it.
Unfortunately.
All right, so this last question is about the football team. Okay.
Yes.
If you were on the schedule and I was giving you tickets to go to games, okay, I want you to pick a Pac-12 I'm sorry, a Big 12 or Big whatever they are these days. A Big
yeah.
An ACC team. And then I put Pac-12 on here because you can pick a team from the former Pac-12 to kind of cheat. So that's 4 different teams of places that you want to go to. Like if there's like say, hey, Alabama is going to this place today, where would you want to go?
Pac-12, I want to go to Oregon. And I'm gonna be honest,
would be trouble. Like I said.
If it was the former Pac-12 or Pac-12, whatever you want to call it, I'd want to go to Oregon. I just want to go to that school just to see all the Nike stuff all over the place. I'm just being completely honest with you.
Wow.
Big. So for the Big 12, are we talking Texas, Oklahoma, or are we talking about Big 12 now?
Well, you can't pick Texas because you've already been to Texas. So,
exactly.
And you're going to Oklahoma next year. So I wasn't really counting those two because you're already doing those two.
What about Texas Tech? I heard they have a pretty cool campus down there in Lubbock. So I wouldn't mind going to a Texas Tech game. Heard the atmosphere is pretty cool.
Okay.
ACC, Clemson. I always wanted to go.
Over Florida State.
Oh, I forgot about Florida State because Florida
State Miami
now.
I've heard about your Miami stories.
I only have one Miami story, and it was great. We had a great time. I've been to Miami, so I'm gonna skip Miami. Never been to Florida State, so I forgot about them. I'll go to Florida State. Wouldn't mind going to a game like that. That'll be a high impact game. Both programs are doing pretty well. And did you say Big Ten or no?
Yes, Big Ten.
I want to go to what's the Ohio State's thing called? The shoe?
Not Wisconsin?
Say it again?
Not Wisconsin?
Nope.
Where I'm going next year? I don't know if Rod is frozen there for a minute. Mike gives you Oregon, Miami, Colorado.
Anyway, I wouldn't mind going to an Ohio State.
Yep. You're frozen on my end, Rod, so I'm not sure if you're still with me. So,
yeah,
Ricky, I've been around you enough to know. Go ahead, Rod.
You're going out.
There you go.
You're going out on my end. All right, sorry. Big Ten. Colorado's in there now, but they were in the Pac-12, so I already picked Oregon. So,
yeah.
So I'd go to Ohio State.
You're good on that.
Yeah.
Yep. I like it. So, Kat said you had a perfect frozen face with your smile. So
thank you.
And I don't know if you saw this one. I disappointed you. I've been around you, so I've seen Ricky. Ricky, you're gonna want to.
I haven't been around Ricky that much.
Yeah.
Got okay.
Yeah. All right, Raj. Another great show. Another great debate.
LeBron.
Appreciate everybody
listening. I'm ready. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Appreciate everybody listening to Her Barrage podcast. Like I said, look for us this weekend. We will have something covering A-Day. We'll have plenty of posts, stuff about it. If you're on Twitter, please check out our poll that we have up there. Tomorrow morning, you'll see both of us contributing to the Wednesday wrap-up, 8 a.m. Central. So, and for the podcast, we'll be back next week. Thank you, everybody. Your comments make the show. We love y'all. Appreciate you. Have a wonderful night. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.